Hello everyone, my name is Kini and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, karibu sana, and do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Today's video is a video that I was going to do because I've had so many people ask me this question in the inbox. But what made me do it today is because in the course of the week I posted a video that my friend did, and she talked about the things that black people go through in Australia, and most of them were negative because we have to talk about the positive and the negatives. If you haven't watched that video, her name is Mercy MM. Check her out. That is her Instagram and YouTube name. So in this video, she talked about the things that we go through, and most people messaged me asking them, if you go through all these nasty things, then why are you in Australia? And I'm here to tell you that in every place that you will be, whether you're back home, whether you're overseas, whatever you are, you will meet mean people, not so kind people, and they will tell you things, but I don't think you can control that, so just don't care too much about that because they are good people. So yeah, but I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to talk about why I'm in Australia. So most people ask me, how can you come to Australia? How do you migrate to Australia? And that is what I wanted to talk about today. So to come to Australia, you definitely need a visa, and Australia has so many visas that I cannot exhaust today. But for you to know the visa that is suitable for you, then you can go online and Google Australian Department of Home Affairs. They have all the information, and that is where you kind of go and go through all the visas and know which one is suitable for you as an individual. But today I'm going to be talking about visas that I feel like, just a few that I feel like they are easier for you to be able to, they don't require so many, or they don't have so many requirements. And the first visa that I'm going to be talking about is a student visa, which by the way I used. So a student visa, you just apply to come to an institution in Australia and study. So you study and then you leave. So it's a temporal visa because they are temporal visa and they are permanent visa. So you come to Australia, you study, and then you go back home. So how then do you apply for a visa for the student visa? So once you get an agent, then you can start the process. In my opinion, the advantages that are there is, one, the education is top-notch. So if you come here and study and then you want to go back home, then that means it will be easier for you to get a job. Okay? Secondly, you can study and work at the same time. So they allow you to work, though you get limited hours, mostly 20 hours a week, but you get to work full-time during your holidays. So that means you can work hard and sustain yourself financially while you're here. So that is a plus because then you can support yourself. The other advantage is if you have a partner or spouse or your kids, you can bring them to Australia. So let's assume that when you're applying for your visa, you're going to be asked your marital status, and you say you're married and you have kids, or you just married. When you're here, you can apply for a visa for your partner to come and join you here, even if you're a student. Then they can work while you're studying, which is very helpful because then they can assist you with your school fee. Also, you can bring your family over to visit you, so that is another plus. And the other thing, after completion of your studies or when you're here, you are eligible, or you can apply for other visas. For example, you can apply for a skilled visa after your completion of the studies that you came here to do, and that can lead to you getting a permanent visa. That is if you're not going back home. Now, what are the disadvantages? According to me, I feel like the student visa is quite pricey. It is expensive, more so the school fee, and then you need a bank statement for you to come here so that you can show the immigration that you're able to take care of yourself and support yourself while you're studying here. Another con is that if it's not granted, because it is not a must that you'll be granted the first time. So if you're trying another time, that means you incurred the losses. And for example, like you have to pay an agent again. So it is very important for you to write your GTE. GTE is the genuine temporal entrance. So this is where you tell them where you're coming and show them that you're only here to study and you're going to go back home, and this is a temporal visa. So make sure that everything that is required that you give them, and this will help to speed up the process and for you to get the visa. So the second visa that I'm going to talk about is the skilled visa. So this is the visa that you can get, you can apply individually. If you went online and saw there's a skilled visa, and you feel like you have the skills and you meet the requirements, then you can apply yourself. Secondly, if you're working with a company that can sponsor you to come here, then you can apply for the skilled visa as well, or you can get a sponsorship from other company or other organization to come to Australia. The third visa that I'm going to be talking about is the partner's visa. Like I said, you can bring your partner from overseas, and if you're already in Australia, for example, if you're a student and you found a partner in Australia, after completion of your study, you can apply for your partner's visa and your partner can sponsor you and you get into their visa. However, they ask for a lot of evidence that your relationship is genuine, so you better have all that evidence. There are a lot of things also you can find that online. The fourth visa that I'm going to talk about is the visitor's visa. So this visitor's visa, you can, one, bring your family, and this is the visa that also tourists use. So this is kind of a holiday visa, and when you're applying for these, because there are different classes, so just make sure that if you want to come to Australia and work while you're on holiday, you can still do that. So while you're applying for your visa, make sure that you exhaust like the requirements so you know which visa is suitable for you. The fifth visa I'm going to be talking about is the refugee visa. So the refugee visa, you just have to prove that your country is going through some difficulties or you're being persecuted from your country. So if you applied for a refugee visa and you're able to prove that, then the Australian government will consider you and give you a refugee visa. Last visa that I'm going to be talking about is the business visa. I feel like this is the most expensive visa out there, because then you have to have a legit company and you have to have lots of money. You have to have money and you have to have a company. So, but if you have a company and you have money, then it's a suitable visa for you. So do I have some pointers that can help you actually get a visa? So if you're coming here to do, for example, a diploma of something, of any course that you want to do, I think I'd advise you to use a college, because they're a bit cheaper than the university. And also, when you're applying for any visa, just make sure that you don't lie, because then they do a reference check. And I'll give you an example, a good example of lying that can really escalate to being just a small lie to being a problem. Um, for instance, when you're applying for student visa, you might feel like if you have kids, you might feel like if you said that you had kids, then they will not consider you. But the advice that you don't lie, because then in future, assuming that you came here on a temporary visa, and then you stayed, because then you got you got a permanent visa, and now you want to bring your kids over. Remember, you lied that you didn't have kids because then you wanted a student visa, and now you want to bring your kids here, and then you go and you apply visa for your kids. Then the Department of Immigration will want to know where these kids came from, because then you didn't have kids, and they follow up. So just be truthful, and I think pray about it, and of course have money, and yeah, everything will be alright. So I hope this was helpful and I hope this answered your question. If you have more questions, Google, or you can ask the questions down below, and I'll answer the best way that I can. Yeah, and you can also share this with your friends or family or relatives who would find this information helpful. So thank you so much for watching this, for hanging out with me. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Cheers.